There wouldn't be any life on Earth if it had taken 10% longer to evolve. Voyager 1 was sent on a voyage of no return about 50 years ago, one that was meant to lead to fresh discoveries in our knowledge of the solar system. Voyager 1 has been returning a ton of data, tremendous Earth like a diligent servant, revealing astounding new information about the universe, and introducing us to places we never knew existed. By dropping an intergalactic bombshell on scientists' laps, Voyager has now overreached itself. Scientists marveled at the incredible data that Voyager 1 had just sent to Earth, a startling revelation that has the potential to completely alter the course of cosmic history. What is this concerning finding that was recently made by Voyager 1? Voyager has entered interstellar space, is it correct? Come along on this fascinating cosmic voyage as we investigate what transpired. Nothing like Voyager 1 has ever been observed in interstellar space. Even the most accomplished scientists are shocked by the depths to which this scientific marvel has ventured. This engineering mystery has ventured into uncharted territory, revealing astounding findings that are revolutionizing our knowledge of interstellar space. Everyone has been amazed by Voyager 1's surprise turn for more than 45 years. Astronomers never thought we would discover such startling discoveries, at least not during the spacecraft's lifespan. Unfortunately, we couldn't have been more mistaken, since Voyager 1 has amazed everyone by outliving its predicted lifespan. In addition to surpassing its anticipated lifespan, Voyager 1 has traveled to lengths that have left the entire scientific world stunned, akin to a Shakespearean fairy tale. Despite being billions of kilometers away from its launch pad, we can't help but be amazed by a spaceship that has dazzled everyone with its ingenuity in rewriting the rules of space travel. When it comes to interstellar space travel, scientists have been compelled by Voyager 1 to abandon some restrictive ideas and adopt new ways of thinking. We were practically learning from the texts from the beginning. Everyone is in awe at Voyager 1's incredible capacity to transmit data back to Earth from such a great distance in space. Even more perplexing is the fact that, in spite of its antiquated equipment, the spacecraft is continuously sending us data. That isn't logical. The spacecraft doesn't give a damn about our feelings, because its most recent discovery has filled us with a sense of astonishment. Since they deciphered the most recent communication carried to Earth by the Voyager spacecraft, experts have been discussing this revelation nonstop. We didn't have to do any work to find the interstellar discovery of the decade, which seems to have been brought to us by Voyager. What else is there to ask for? The quest to discover the secrets of the universe began in 1965, when space exploration was only getting started, rather than today. Gary Flandreau, a former employee of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, must be mentioned in this tale. He was the bright brain charged with altering the best course for a spacecraft to approach Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, the far-off titans of our solar system. With great faith, Flandreau took on this difficult undertaking and went to work right away. A few hours later, he found the unimaginable. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Earth would form a celestial necklace with the alignment of all four gas giants in a cosmic dance. This was a once-in-a-lifetime occasion, a momentous occasion that might not come around again. Based on the information that Flandreau had uncovered, it was clear that each planet's gravitational pull, like an unseen rope, might accelerate a spacecraft passing by. Flandreau realized that a trip from Earth to Neptune would have taken 30 years, but that the trip could be cut to 12 years with the help of the calculations derived from this discovery. Without delay, Flandreau informed NASA's highest leadership of his findings and suggested that we begin developing tangible preparations to take advantage of the opportunity this extraordinary cosmic event would present. Only once every 176 years does this incredible cosmic event take place. NASA acted quickly to seize this fantastic opportunity, much like a deer sprinting to safety. When the space agency launched two spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, within 15 days of one another in 1977, astronomers were not surprised by the opportunity. With a single mission embedded in their computer systems, the space probes departed Earth's coastlines to investigate the far-off giants in our solar system. Nothing had prepared scientists for the record-breaking discoveries that these space probes would make during their historic journey. Despite their optimism that these space explorers would make delectable discoveries, by successfully setting off on a cosmic journey that has expanded our knowledge of the solar system and interstellar space in general, the twin spacecraft have lived up to their name. it is only natural to assume that their brightness will eventually fade. We couldn't have been more mistaken, though, as these amazing space travelers are still burning brightly in space, reaching depths we never thought they could reach, and informing us of the discoveries they make via the information they transmit back to the ground crew on Earth. By traveling the furthest distances ever covered by a space probe in human history, they have cemented their position in history. In addition, they never cease to astound everyone by being the oldest spaceship ever discovered. Given that their initial mission lengths were only scheduled to last 4 years, we can't help but be impressed by their praise. However, they defied the restriction placed on their existence, shocking both skeptics and the general public. Scientists can't seem to get enough of the incredible hypotheses and discoveries that the Voyager craft continues to deliver us, and the story only gets more magnificent every day. These brave spacecraft provided us with exciting up-close pictures of Jupiter and Saturn in the early stages of their trip. They lifted the curtain on how we see these enormous planets, clearing up misconceptions and broadening our perspective on these far-off worlds. Our knowledge of these far-off giants had been restricted by the journey across the enormous gulf, but it gradually expanded as our eyes adjusted to the fascinating new worlds in Jupiter and Saturn that we were unaware existed. The fact that these worlds were remarkably more beautiful, alive, and dynamic than we could have ever dreamed of left scientists speechless. When the data from these space probes revealed that these worlds had spectacular ice fields and active volcanoes, astronomers practically let out a cry of delight. It was as though scientists had been given access to a Disneyland of the most amazing space discoveries anyone could imagine. Would anyone have thought that a spacecraft made out of a vintage Volkswagen Beetle could explore unexplored areas and make unthinkable discoveries, the type that we have never seen or heard before? In 1986, Voyager 2 did the unexpected by being the first spacecraft to come this close to Uranus. Much like a daring hunter who ventures into the heart of a dense forest, it sailed over Neptune in 1989 after continuing on this incredible journey. Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to have explored these two ice giants to this extent, according to history books. The historic discoveries that these famous visits brought to life are even more astounding to historians. Had Voyager 2 not ventured so far, which has put it more than 14 billion miles from Earth, we would still be in the dark about how we perceive these two far-off worlds. By itself, Voyager 1 could not have defied everyone's expectations. Early on in its voyage, it needed assistance. This was demonstrated to us when its historic journey started with a gravitational boost from Venus, an action never before taken by any spacecraft en route to Mercury. There are numerous firsts documented throughout the Voyager craft's voyage. As they navigated the captivating waves of interstellar space, they continued to establish new marks every day. As thrilling as this story sounds, the Voyager's journey wasn't without its challenges. Although it appears simple now, decades ago, a tense atmosphere surrounded the space probes as they ascended through the many stages of this mission. Their repeated attempts to get the required maneuver to Mercury provide evidence of this. Furthermore, the first part of their journey to Jupiter was not at all pleasant because they had to go 10 times as far from Earth as Mercury. During this epic journey, the probes had to maneuver through the asteroid belt's harsh waves, which threatened to divert them from their objective. But since the craft hadn't traveled this far to be discouraged, they continued their magnificent investigation of the solar system by burning till they crossed the slick area. The Voyager was concerned about more than just the fact that it had survived the asteroid belt. The vessel continued to travel across space, with a number of obstacles remaining to overcome. Considering that the Voyager only possessed 69 kilobytes of memory, a small portion of a smartphone's storage capacity, scientists realized that the spacecraft was in a difficult spot. In order to handle the intricacies of their voyage, the probe's computers were forced to rely on onboard equipment. Interestingly, the data collected by the probe's equipment had to be recorded on tape recorders before being transmitted back to Earth using a small 23-watt transmitter, a power equivalent to a light bulb in a refrigerator. The Voyager was able to send and receive signals at the speed of light because to its 12-meter dish antennas, which made radio communication easier. However, their remarkably great distance from Earth, which served as a roadblock to these space explorers' successful journey, still leaves us in wonder. This is because the vessel found it challenging to maintain contact with Earth due to the great distance. As it turned out, the ground crew on Earth had to wait more than 18 hours to detect the signals from Voyager 2. The difficulty of hearing weak whispers coming from the spacecraft was further compounded by the increasing interference from Earth's noise, such as cell phones, televisions, and radios. Each year, however, Voyager 1 and its twin have triumphantly overcome these obstacles. Ever since the Voyager spacecraft set out on its mission through the interstellar expanses of our universe, it has been sending scientists famous discoveries that have left astronomers speechless. The fact that these discoveries are changing our perception of the far, off worlds in our universe makes them utterly unexpected. As a new understanding of the cosmos is being implemented in front of our very eyes, the ideas we formerly held dear about it are being discarded. The Voyager's entry into the Oort cloud, a stunning collection of comet-like objects held together by the sun's gravitational force and extending halfway towards the closest star, was one of the highlights of this intriguing interstellar voyage. One of the enigmatic areas that the Voyager has ventured to investigate is this far-off world, and it is gradually revealing the countless mysteries concealed deep within this cosmic domain. Additionally, interstellar space, where the solar wind phenomena give way to a more approachable frontier, appears to have been one area where Voyager 1 shone brightly. The Voyager had to pass through the heliopause, the line separating our solar system from interstellar space, before it could enter this magical area. Astronomers were ecstatic when Voyager passed this barrier, and the entire scientific community started to speculate about the incredible discoveries that would result from this momentous occasion. There were some unsettling questions raised by the Voyager's exploration of this unexplored area. Before the Voyager probes reached the heliopause, for example, the earliest estimations of its distance were not consistent. The mission's funding was boosted since astronomers believed it to be about 50 astronomical units. Astronomers were surprised, however, as no anticipated indications of interstellar transit were observed after the spacecraft left this point. Thus, we can see why this confusing circumstance confused scientists. They searched in vain for indications of this strange occurrence, but none appeared. And dramatic surge in galactic cosmic rays, high-energy particles released from supernovae and other cataclysms at nearly the speed of light, is one indication of this much-anticipated passage into interstellar space, experts say. But scientists now know that the heliosphere's enormous magnetic field deflects the majority of low-energy cosmic rays. Because it shields our inner solar system from the majority of external hazards, the heliosphere is a gift from the universe to our solar system. It protects everything inside the inner solar system, acting as a massive shield. Additionally, the Voyager ground crew was closely monitoring the spacecraft to monitor shifts in the dominating magnetic field. Furthermore, it was anticipated that the magnetic field direction of the interstellar medium, which is composed of ionized gases and is impacted by nearby stars, would differ from that of the heliosphere. Scientists were further perplexed when the Voyager spacecraft showed no indications of such changes. The space probe had clearly cloaked itself in a dense cloak of mystery at this intersection. When Voyager crossed the heliopause on August 25, 2012, and sent intriguing data to the ground team on Earth, the image became less hazy. The tale wasn't totally successful, but the transmitted data did support the anticipated rise in plasma density. The reason for this is because there was no sign of a change in the direction of the ambient magnetic field. The unexpectedness of this truth made it rather difficult for astronomers to accept. When moving from an area where the sun's magnetic field predominated to one where other stars had an influence, it was thought that the direction of the magnetic field would shift. It took some time for scientists to fully comprehend this startling discovery. An engrossing video of Voyager 2's thrilling voyage to the interstellar sea would greet us if we traveled back in time to November 2018. Astronomers have been talking about this unique journey ever since it created a stir in the scientific community. Their fascination with this amazing event, the Voyager 2 mission reaching the heliopause, the edge of our solar system at 120 astronomical units from Earth, is understandable. The remarkable thing is that 6 years prior, its twin Voyager 1 had traveled the identical distance. The possibility that Voyager 2 could accomplish the same thing thrilled astronomers. However, the fact that Voyager 2 had observed no changes in the magnetic fields, despite what theoretical models indicated, continued to baffle scientists. The space probe was floating in a pool of mystery, and this strange incident added even more intrigue to it. Every time astronomers turned to look for a solution, they encountered a brick wall. The ominous clouds appeared to be destined to rule this issue indefinitely. The fact that the Voyager's actions were completely at odds with expectations was astounding. For example, the heliosphere, which is affected by the Sun's 11-year cycle, is predicted to have fluctuated in the same way as the solar wind. When the solar wind peaked at the arrival of Voyager 2, indicating that the heliopause might be closer to the interstellar medium and farther than 120 astronomical units. Scientists were taken aback when current models were unable to account for the disparities in Voyager's observations. Questions over Voyager's transition into the actual interstellar magnetic field were raised by slight alterations close to the heliopause that were impacted by the heliosphere. Scientists have differing opinions. Some assume Voyager is still in the heliosphere, while others believe it has successfully entered interstellar space due to higher galactic cosmic ray and plasma densities. As Voyager approaches Proxima Centauri, its robust systems, which rely on outdated hardware with little software, remain fascinating and hold the potential to yield previously unheard of discoveries should its mission last until 2030.